And here we go. This is Jeff Talks Podcast, where I share what has inspired me in life and recovery in hopes that it inspires you. What's going on, guys and gals, family, friends, loves? I don't even know what to say after loves. I got nothing. Gosh, feels really good to be back. I took a couple, I feel like 3 weeks off. So I apologize for that. I'm most definitely going to do my best to give this some more time and energy. I've been working on some other stuff, but nevertheless, we are here, and I got 3 pretty interesting topics that have 100%, whether they inspired me. I mean, of course they inspired me, but I guess they inspire my thinking, and they really get the wheels turning. So, gosh, it feels good to be back, man. Fun fact, before we get started, I was wearing my headphones on the wrong ear, and the first time I wore these, I was like, these aren't fitting right. They're too tight. They hurt my head. They hurt my face, and they were like pushing really deep in my ears. And I know you guys don't care, but I was really upset because I invested in these, and they help just really get in the moment and do this. That makes it so much easier. So yeah, they were backwards. I had the right and the left and the right, so they're good now. So just to let you guys know, I can hear myself very well. And okay, here we go. So the first thing that I kind of wanted to talk about was, I saw this interview with Seth Godin. And if you guys don't know who he is, he's a crazy good blogger. He's like Mr. Marketing, I think. Again, if you know him, I don't really know him that well, but I've been trying to follow more of his stuff because of the interview that I saw on Impact Theory with Tim Bilyeu, and he's written a ton of books. I think he wrote like blog posts, like 1 a day for 7 years, something like that. And they weren't like small blog posts. So I'm watching this interview, and he makes this comment, and he says that we have happiness with agency. We have happiness with agency, knowing that we have some type of control over our life. End quote. And that really kind of hit home. I had to pause the interview, and I had to write that down because I definitely wanted to talk about it. I thought it would be a great idea for a podcast. So for me, that really hit home because in recovery, the only thing that really made me feel just a slight bit of control in my life was the fact that I still had a full-time job. For a while I had a car. Eventually I didn't have a car, but I had all these external things that I guess were still playing a part in my life, on the aspect of, like, I still felt like I was a part of society because of these certain things that I had, and that made me have a false sense of control over my life because I was getting loaded as often as I could. And I really wanted to talk about that, especially today, and with what we're all going through with COVID-19 and everything. I feel like, for me personally, I feel very out of control. incredibly out of control, and especially because nobody really knows like how long this is going to be for, is even more frustrating and scary. And I hate living in fear, right? Because I lived in fear for, gosh, I feel like almost my entire life, because I was constantly trying to please other people. And then I found alcohol, and it just, I was home. But I love being able to have certain practices in my life that give me a sense of control. And for me, it's healthy. When I was drunk all the time, obviously it was, again, I've talked about like having a false or artificial spiritual experience with my drinking, because that's like the feeling that it gave me. I felt connected and whatnot. I think drinking gave me a false sense of control. And now being sober, just celebrating 3 years, it's really hard. Well, it's not hard now, but in the beginning it was really hard to apply or even practice or even think of a new habit, or to create a new habit in something that makes me feel control. But then even deeper than that, I didn't really just want to feel in control. I wanted to be in control, right? I don't want to feel good. I want to be good. I don't want to feel happy. I want to actually deep down be happy. And so, again, this quote really jumped out to me. And I love how, I don't really even know what the word agency means. I didn't know, a secret agent, or something like that. But I guess it means like something that has to do with control. And I apologize for not researching that word a little bit more, but I thought it was beautifully put. So we have happiness with agency, knowing that we have some type of control over our life. And for me, in recovery, I think AA can be a huge part of giving yourself a sense of control, at least for that hour or maybe 2 hour, meeting. Even like reaching out and calling a mentor, and however long the conversation goes, but being able to have these little things that are presented to feel in control. I feel even like working. Gosh, I've been working for other people since I was 14 years old as an employee, right? And I think from a financial standpoint, having a full-time job is a way to kind of give ourselves control and just feeling in control. Like, okay, this is my routine. I wake up at 6 in the morning. I'm at work at 7, and then I work till 3 or 3:30, and then I drive home and I do the laundry or I cook or whatever it may be. I think just having that routine also gives us a much deeper sense of control and security as well. So, being that I've worked for other people for over 20 years now, just about 20 years, I'm 34, 14, 20 years, it's really scary to think that one day I could possibly not have income. And I feel blessed because I've been able to work through this COVID. I feel very blessed, and I'm grateful for that. But I know that there's, tons on tons and tons of people that aren't working. They're collecting unemployment, of course, but how long can we really rely on other people? And for me, that's so scary. And I think also it has a little bit to do with my ego and control. There we go again, control. And I want to literally control everything. And again, that pours into a little egotistical type stuff. But that's not healthy. I know that's not healthy. So it's, for me, all these little practices that I've been slowly implementing in my life as simple as just like not eating one meal a day, I'm priming my mind and my emotions to kind of get comfortable being uncomfortable and surrendering that control, right? I'm in recovery too, so I've been praying every morning. The first thing I do when I wake up is I surrender. I surrender my will and my life over to the care of something bigger than myself. And that's it. And that's it. And it's not that like I'm surrendering in the fact that like I'm giving up. Does that make sense? Like I'm not going to fight anymore. I'm not going to. I'm trying to think of a good analogy, but I think you guys get the point. It's trusting in something else that is bigger than myself to guide my thoughts, to guide my feelings and my emotions, and really trusting in that the universe has something bigger and better for me. And I know some of you are like, Jeff, you're bonkers, bro. Like, what are you talking about, dude? But again, in my experience, being an alcoholic, still having alcoholic obviously tendencies, but I've been abstinent for 3 years, but in the beginning, oh my god, like that was the hardest thing for me to do, was ask for help. Like, talk about ego, like blow to the gut, like it surrendering. Like, what are you talking about? I'm a man, you know what I mean? Like, I don't surrender. Like, I am control, I cause control, I influence control. Like I want my hands in literally everything, every aspect of my life. But then I was drinking in excess all the freaking time. So for me, family, that works. It works. Whenever I take myself out of it and I surrender that control, I'm immediately so much happier. So much happier. But then, of course, I also want to touch on, we are human. Like, I am flesh and blood. Even though I choose to believe that I am a spiritual being having a human experience, we are still flesh and blood. So for me, being very, like, always being very active and very intense and loving sports and just that competition, right? I need something that I can apply to my life that usually entails getting sweaty, like working out. I love hot yoga, and like shocking my body almost. But when I say shock, I mean kind of like a reset. So like I'm super, like I'm not, let's just say, for example, I had a rough day at work. I'm in my head. I'm feeling very high strung, anxious, nervous, fearful, very emotional, right? And I come home and I can't reset. Like that energy is then pouring into my home life, and I don't want that. I don't want that at all. So being able to like apply silly little things like a cold shower, it shocks my body and allows me to kind of be like, oh wait, that's right. Just breathe. Just breathe. Just keep breathing. This other quote that I was listening to, oh my gosh, it was by Les Brown. It was, tough times don't last, but tough people do. I want to say that one more time. Tough times last. I just screwed it up, huh? Tough times don't last, but tough people do. I apologize, I screwed that up. Anyways, sorry, Les Brown. So, I think we can move on to the next topic. But I hope that was helpful. Hope that was helpful, family. I hate not being in control. It drives me crazy. So I have practices in my life, in my daily routine, to kind of allow me to surrender control. And I'm not saying be willy-nilly, of course, but I'm encouraging everyone, and this is also for myself, of course, trying to practice what I preach, is like being able to just like what is the line? Like, when am I supposed to take action, and when am I just supposed to like let things be? And I think it's a fine line, and it's almost impossible, especially when you're in the moment and you're going through it at the time. It's impossible to know. But nevertheless, practicing that awareness and maybe just taking a moment and stepping back. Just step back. Take a breath, take a breather, and ask yourself, why am I feeling this? What's deeper? What's really going on? And how do I get through this, or how do I get out of it? And try to bring that questioning internal. So the next awesome blossom topic that we have is, it was another part of the interview, and Seth Godin says, choose to be passionate about what you do. Don't wait to find something you're passionate about. And then I also wrote down, if you smile, you'll be in a better mood. So I kind of feel like all these topics kind of blend together, but I did that on purpose, I think unconsciously. So choose to be passionate about what you do. Don't wait to find something you're passionate about. Boom. That really hit home to me, because especially like in my drinking, I was never content where I was at. I was never passionate about where I was at in life. It didn't matter. The only place that I was happy was at a bar. Fast forward to now, I have definitely had moments, specifically as an employee, where I was just like, this sucks, dude. Like, I really have a hard time working for other people. I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you can relate, but dude, it drives me crazy. I can't stand working for other people sometimes. And I think that also bleeds into not being in control. Ugh. And definitely throwing some ego. But nevertheless, family, one day at a time. So it is really, really hard for me to, first of all, accept where I'm at in life, because I constantly want more. I feel like God blessed all of us with so many amazing skills. And for me, I really strongly feel that God just wants me to move and grow and learn. And school was really hard for me as well, right? So like, it's not that I didn't want to learn. It was just that, dude, like, this topic doesn't interest me at all. And I'm sorry, but I don't really care about like certain math things or like English. And of course now it's like, man, I should read more. Like, I like reading, and my English is getting better, my writing's getting better just from reading, and now I'm journaling. And math, like, I wasn't the best at math. I was in basic math all like 3 or 4 years in high school, like the same teacher. I didn't do like calculus or anything like that. I don't even think I did algebra. Or maybe I did 1 year, and it was like my senior year, and I don't know. But now I'm trying to like get on top of my finances. So I'm like, shoot, like, numbers really do matter. I want to learn how to read like a financial statement and really become mindful of how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. So I don't really know where I was going with that. But anyways, being able to be passionate about something has always kind of been a struggle for me. That's what I was doing. I was using that to apply to school, and it was hard for me to be passionate in school because I don't really care. So working at some jobs, oh my gosh, it's like, dude, you taking the fire out of me, man. I feel like I'm being dampened. And the analogy of like, I've always felt like I was this thoroughbred horse, man. I I just want to run. Just let me run. Just turn me loose. Open up the damn cage already, right? And like yeah, Kentucky Derbies and stuff. Like, open up this stupid cage. Let me run. Because, oh my God, I feel amazing when I run. I feel free and I feel charged and I feel like nothing can stop me, right? So I don't know if some of y'all can relate to that, but oh my gosh, dude, it was like an itch I couldn't scratch, you know? And it was almost like I needed permission. I've been tamed or trained to, like, you can only act a certain way when it's like okay with everybody else. So I think that's why I like sport, because in football, if you hit somebody, that's good. You're encouraged to do that. In hockey, it's a very physical sport. Like, it's good. So I tended to lean more towards like sports where I could feel free, like I could finally let everything out and I could literally just put my body on the line type of thing. And I felt so incredibly at peace. So it's really, really hard to work at a job where I feel like I'm working on my hands, like I'm sitting on my hands or just with one hand, a hand tied behind my back, or like I have, one leg or one eye, or I can't breathe or whatever. Like I hate feeling stifled, and it drives me crazy. It drives me so crazy. So this really hit home. All that to basically said that this really hit home. And I also want to touch on, I was talking to my beautiful girlfriend the other night, literally last night, and I was talking, it was in my journal. Basically, like, the question in my journal, in the morning journal, was, oh my goodness, I don't want to pause and go get it because it'll take a little time. I'll remember. But it was along the lines of, what areas in your life don't give you the most energy, something along those lines. And immediately when I was doing that, I was like, work, like, done, freaking work, man. Like, and I say that with probably some hostility, and I apologize, but I kind of don't apologize because it's really just my passion, and I want to create something to really provide for myself and my future family. So I've always geared towards or leaned towards people, places, and things that will allow me to kind of have that fire. And even conversationally, like I love just being passionate. It's hard for me to talk about the stinking weather. Like, dude, I don't care about the weather. I got sober out in Pennsylvania. That's weather. Southern California, it's like, wow, it's sunny again. Oh, we might have a storm, and it's like drizzly rain. So again, I'm not trying to talk crap, but nevertheless, I like intensity. I like weather. I like severe cold thunderstorms. Like, I like it. So that's just my personality. But I think God made me this way for a reason. And this is just one of those platforms that I'm creating for myself in hopes that, like, I can just share me and how I look at things and feel about things, and really things that inspire me to be a better person one day at a time, and to share being vulnerable. And like, for me, that is my passion. So trying to apply and like turn that mindset towards like a full-time job is really hard. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. But I guess what I'm taking from his quote, again, choose to be passionate about what you do now. Like, right here, right now, in this present moment. Don't wait to find something you're passionate about. Oh man, even talking about it, it's like, excuse me, it's really hard. But taking that passion and being the man that I strongly feel that God created me to be, and taking that to work and trying to apply that in every aspect of my life and practicing these spiritual principles in all of my affairs. Easier said than done, but hot damn, I'm trying. And as Les Brown says, when you say I'm trying, it's kind of like giving yourself an excuse to fail. So I'm doing it. I'll definitely try to check in about this later, but one day at a time. I literally have to like chop it up into small like increments throughout the day, because it's really really hard. And if I'm being completely open and honest and vulnerable with y'all, it's not easy, and I'm not at all perfect ever, but it's really hard. Specifically that it's hard for me to do that. It's easy for me to do that with like relationships. It's totally easy for me to be like, oh my God, I love you. Like mom, dad, brother, sister, like girlfriend, I love you. Like friends, like brothers that are friends, like I can say I love you all day, and I can mean it from the bottom of my heart, and I can give them compliments, like, dude, you're really good at this. Like you're a freaking lead, like I'm good at that type of stuff. If like a brother in recovery calls me, like it's easy for me to basically to tell them that, hey, you're worthy of love and belonging. Like it's a gift that you're here. Like thank you for calling me. You add so much to my life right now, and giving them that sense of love and like worthiness, right? It's easy for me to put my passion into stuff like that, but to be 100% real with y'all, it's really hard for me to apply in my day-to-day, in my full-time job. But I'm trying, and this is also like me holding myself accountable and sharing that with you all. But yeah, I think that's enough on that. We can go on to the next one. So I also wanted to, oh my God, if you smile, you'll be in a better mood. So, okay, note to self, Sir Jeff, Mr. Jeff, whatever, Jeff Talks podcast, dude, smile and be happy. And I think that's why I started journaling in the morning, and I pray every morning just to kind of prime my heart and my mind to be happy, even though I don't enjoy every single day, right? So smile and you'll be happy. Okay, I love this last topic. What you say to yourself matters. I actually had I was on YouTube earlier today, and I think Tony Robbins had like one of those motivational videos on YouTube with like a gazillion views already, and it was something like, listen to this every morning, and basically it was a picture of Tony Robbins, and it was what you say to yourself matters. And this really, of course, inspires the heck out of me, and I think everyone can relate, because everybody like talks to themselves in their own mind. Everybody has thoughts and feelings, and then I'm sure people overanalyze or underanalyze or whatever it may be. Like my self-talk sucked when I was getting loaded, and I would beat myself up all the freaking time. And if some of you can relate to that, cool. We don't have to talk to ourselves like that anymore. And a good analogy is like, let's just say somebody that you have a very, very endearing, close, pure relationship with, somebody that you love unconditionally. How would you talk to that person? Or would you let somebody else talk to that person the way that you talk to yourself? And that really hit home for me, because I'm like, dude, like I wouldn't let anybody talk to my friends the way that, or my mom or my dad, like the way that I'm talking to myself. There's absolutely no way. So this, gosh, I mean, the inner dialogue that I would have, I would constantly beat myself up. And the crazy thing too is I actually remember a story. So years ago, me and a bunch of my buddies, it was my brother's, like, not my brother's, my buddy's bachelor party, and we went up to Big Bear. And we ended up taking our snowboards. There was snow on the ground, and it was a blast, drinking, whatever. And again, years ago. This wasn't like last week, much more than 3 years ago. So we were having a great time, and we made like these jumps and stuff, like in the back, and there was a hill, so we were able to like climb up the hill and ride down and like hit jumps. And I think we even had like a tire, like a dresser that we could like slide or like grind on with our snowboards and whatnot. And so I started to try to do like a 360. And long story short, it took me a while, but eventually I did it. And I would, every single time, even if I landed it, I would still beat myself up. But it was out loud, so it was like my friends could hear like my inner dialogue. And my buddy Max, actually, I remember this very, very vividly. My buddy Max was like, dude, like, that was good. Like, what's your deal? Like, dude, that was really good, but you're still like talking to yourself like that? What do you want to do? Like, dude, you're a little crazy, because that was really good. So even when, and even now, it's hard to like accept things that are good that are happening in my life experience right now. So I don't know if that resonates with anybody, but oh my gosh. So like that inner dialogue. So even when something good happens in our lives, accept it, appreciate it. Like, even if that's hard, you can be grateful. Like, we can be grateful for the good things. Like, even if I'm just like, ooh, like, I don't know if this is okay, because now I'm scared to like lose everything, right? But being grateful is like practicing gratitude also in every single situation, because even if it's bad, like, oh, I'm grateful for this experience and opportunity to be able to learn and grow in my life, or like, this is amazing, thank you universe, thank you so much, help me to accept this free gift, and of course we work hard, right? Like, everybody, for the most part, I choose to believe that everybody, when motivated correctly with, again, something that they're truly passionate about, everybody has a good work ethic, because somebody will work their butt off on something that truly gives them deep, sincere passion, period. And that's just me. That's what I think and strongly feel. Oh man. So this kind of ties into like what Jeff Talks podcast is really all about. It's all about how I'm trying to practice how I speak to myself, so that I can convey that to others. Because if I can love myself, I can love others. But if I don't love myself, how the heck can anybody else love me? But if also, like, forgiving myself, if I can't forgive myself, how can somebody else? Right? And you can kind of use that with anything. I'm sure you guys could debunk that. But anyways, I need to learn how to love myself before I can love somebody else. Right? If I can understand myself and be empathetic towards myself, it's much easier to do that with others. If I can be compassionate, right? Encouraging, positive, grateful for my own life that I was given, then I'm so much more able to be present in those moments with people that are difficult, that I can be like, you know what, like, life is a gift, and they were given life for a reason. And if I don't know the reason right now, or I can't think of a positive reason of why the heck you're in my life, this is a great opportunity to practice patience and tolerance, and getting comfortable being very, very uncomfortable. And usually when somebody like touches a nerve, It's because I see myself in them. I see a feeling that hasn't been healed in myself. Ooh. So again, it's like a mirror, you know? So I really hope this podcast was useful to y'all. Family. Gosh, I'm having a good time. Whew. And one more thing before we wrap up. I wrote this down, and actually it was pulled from a Les Brown motivational video on YouTube. And it's the question that, gosh, I was driving and I was listening to this, driving home from Planada, California today. So, what is holding you back from engaging fully? Again, what is holding you back from engaging fully? Whatever that may be in your life, what is it? What is it that's holding you back? You know, is it fear? Is it, well, gosh, for me it's fear. 9 times out of 10, it's usually always fear. Or it's, what are other people going to think? And I guess usually that just comes back to fear too. So wanting to impress others, you know, not wanting to let other people down, or having to live up to other people's expectation is really just fear of being my authentic self and not being worthy and not feeling accepted for who I truly am, or how I truly feel, you know, or think about something. So, gosh, I hope you all can really, really apply that question to your life, and I hope it inspires you to maybe move forward or push past something that makes you feel uncomfortable, that you're fearful of feeling, right? Pain or whatever it may be, that helps you kind of maybe even write them down, like write down the pros and cons, like something that you're like, what are you holding back, right, to fully being engaged in. Write down the pros and the cons, and then like kind of, you know, weigh the options, you know. And I hope that was very helpful, super helpful. So, gosh, this is Jeff Talks Podcast, where I share what has inspired me in life and recovery in hopes that it inspires you. This is Jeff, your host, and I'm outie.